Okay, hello and welcome. Today, I want to present you my Count Geonor Cosplay build. You see here, I have a man in a wolf costume. Wait, that's not a wolf costume. That is a wolf costume. That's what this is about today. So, first of all, what's the idea here? What is the concept? It all started with the introduction of the druid and of course his skills, including the wolf pack. Now, wolf pack was said to be underperforming. Whether that is true or not, fact is that every wolf has to die before the pack can respawn. And if you want to focus on these wolves as companions, it's pretty meh if you're standing there with one wolf left and the others unable to respawn, right? So I thought, why not include all the wolves? Because, as you know, there are 6 wolf-type enemies in the game. 3 werewolves and 3 normal wolves. We ended up with just the 3 werewolves because muster doesn't differ between different specters. So I could cut the weaker wolves and replace them with more werewolves. But more on that later. Oh yeah, no, shut up. Back there. Man in the box. Yeah, so I wanted to make a kinda active minion build. And I think I did hit a niche there, because normally you either love minions because you can just lean back and see your minions steamroll everything, or you hate minions because you just kind of sit there and watch and feel like it's not interactive enough, right? So this build includes all minions, companions, and the player. So much for the idea. Now for some disclaimers. Disclaimers are important. First of all, I'm not a build creator. I'm not a cook. I'm just a filthy casual wanting to do something cool, something on his own, and this is my first actual genuine try that actually worked, kinda, to a degree. Yeah, so as I said, I'm not a build creator normally. I've tried to come up with something since 3 seasons now, and this time I got something I think I can be proud of. It can do T15 maps quite reliably. It blasts through level 80 ultimatum, which I will show after the showcase. And also level 80 logbooks are no real problem. If the build is piloted as recommended. More on that also later. Is it top tier? Hell nah. Nah. It is not even really optimized, because I don't fumble around with maths and sheets and stuff, spreadsheets. Also, it is super expensive. So if you want a build that just can blast, I would advise to visit an established creator. For example, for minions you got Gazi, for example, you know, Gazi TV. You have probably heard of him. Or you play as a normal Frost Wolf, which is pretty popular right now and super strong. Doesn't have a single minion, you're just on your own. But it is good. It is super strong, I know that. I leveled with it to level 65. It is strong, it's viable, and it's a million buttons to press. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play piano. No, thank you, sir. So I did this. This build, you have to want to play it in order to have fun. Like I said, if you just want to build for pinnacle progress, you can get much further with way less budget. But if you want the full Wolfpack experience, this is the thing for you. And who knows, maybe you can even bring it to the next level by some magic, I don't know. The next disclaimer is that this build is very pick your fight-ish. Some rares you will just snatch from the screen, especially most bosses just melt. But there are circumstances that get very dangerous very quickly. So you need to be ready to dip out. You have to focus to stay on your toes. Sometimes. The rule of thumb is, and that is the recommended piloting that I mentioned before, treat every pack like a severe danger. And then get surprised how they melt and get munched by your wolves. That's it for the disclaimers. Now what are the upsides? So, we invested a lot in the respawn time of your minions, so they're back really quickly. They will die regularly, especially in harder content, but normally you just dip out for 2 to 4 seconds and they are back up and running into the battle again. We shred most single targets in a casual sense, and we got something in our toolbox for many situations. You can fight alongside your wolves, benefiting and giving benefits thanks to all the presence buffs that we use. Or you can fight on one front while your minions are busy on another. Or maybe it's too dangerous and you don't want to get too close to that one enemy standing in fire, popping poison and big hits. So you debuff him, dip out and watch your wolves chipping him down. In short terms, we are, to a degree, adaptable. And it looks really cool. I mean, just look at it. Up to 16 wolves of 2 different kinds and 8 werewolves of 4 kinds, including the player, of course. And that brings me to the build itself. Let's start with the skills. First and foremost, there are the skills that we as players use. There's of course Shred. Shred is just plain simple damage, and so we also support it like that. It's damage and attack speed all over the place. Heft, brutality, because we ourselves don't do elemental damage. Our minions, however, do. So that's why you see brutality nowhere else. We have close combat for another 30% damage, and we have rapid attacks, so we are at least decently fast, I'd say. The next thing we have is Pounce. Of course, where is it? Where did I hide it? It is right here. Pounce is super important. First of all, it marks enemies. The mark causing an enemy to take up to 60% more damage as long as there are at max 15 enemies of him, including the player, of course, surrounding him. If you did listen, if you did pay attention to the numbers I just told you about how many wolves we have. Yeah, this is at 100% of the time. This is up to the max all the time. Except for when your minions die, but that's another story, come on. Next thing Pounce does for us is it summons our 8 wolves. Honestly, these are just bodies. These are just bodies on the floor. They do chip damage and they hinder enemies from approaching you. That's their role, that's what they're here for. Nothing else. Pounce itself, makes your wolf minions jump at the target, just like you do. Excuse me. I really had the hope that it includes the werewolf specters, but it doesn't. Big set there. The next important thing that it does is Charged Mark. This applies 20% shock. So that's why bosses melt so easily. They get all the debuffs. They just get them all. They get 20% shock, they get a 60% increased damage from the mark, and they get other debuffs as well that we have in our cross slash. More on that later. These 3 supports, Eternal Mark, Charged Mark and Mark of Siphoning. That is the main function of Pounce that we will use. You will you will use pounce regularly, like after every shred combo, basically. So every 4 seconds or whatever, 4 to 5 seconds, you will pounce and cross slash. That is basic gameplay. Yeah, so what these marks do is, Eternal Mark is for the mark to last even after we cross slash, because we always follow up with a cross slash, or at least I do that, because I'm just used to it. Charged Mark, as I said, gives a 20% shock, and Mark of Siphoning makes our minions and ourselves heal, because we are able to leech. The last two supports are up to debate. I personally thought to myself, Holy Descent, Consecrated Ground. It is just a little bit of safety. What was that? What is happening? I hear... Oh. I sell things. Okay, back to the build. Consecrated Ground, yeah. I thought to myself, a little bit more healing can't hurt, because we really need the defense. We need every defense we can get, because our defense is scuffed. More on that also later. And the last support I put in is Efficiency 2. That has the reason that we utilize our mana as health pool. Again, our defenses are all over the place. Mana is one of our life pools. We have energy shield, mana and life, we utilize it all. So we want to be able to pounce, even if we take a big hit and therefore have almost no mana left. Alright, that's what we want. The third skill that we as players use is, of course, Cross Slash. But honestly, it actually just serves 3 purposes. It kills small adds. It activates the mark, and it applies debuffs. We got in it rapid attacks, just for the sake of it, so I can activate it quickly. Also efficiency, so it does cost less mana. Magnified area, so it shreds through white trash mobs. But then come the debuffs. I got Maim in it, which hinders the enemy to evade, also makes them slower. And I got Blind 2 in it. No, don't take it out. Do this. Blind also decreases the evasion. So we go heavily on evasion, decreasing debuffs, evasion debuffs. And also less accuracy. I don't know if that does anything. Like I said, I'm not a build cook. I don't know if this does anything, because quite honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? Just to set this straight here. Last thing we as players utilize is our aura discipline. We get this from our scepter. This is the most useful aura for this build, because we don't want skeletons run around, because skeletons aren't wolves. And all of the elemental resistance auras, they might help in situations, but to be quite frank, I couldn't bother. I couldn't bother adapting to elemental damage sources, having like 3 scepters flying about in my inventory that I have to exchange. I didn't want to do that. Also just relying on one single one. Like, if you want to take a resistance aura, take the fire. Fire is one of the biggest hazards for us. But I actually recommend discipline, because it gives you a much needed total maximum energy shield. We need as much defense and health pool as we can get. In Discipline Aura I have put Clarity, because I had some leftover Spirit. Sadly just Clarity 1, because the Spirit cost gets doubled because of the Keystone that allows us to take a Scepter alongside a Talisman, right? And why do we want Clarity? Because our mana, as I said, serves as another life pool, another buffer between energy and alive. So we wanted to regenerate. And we don't have a lot of mana regeneration in our build. Because we have to focus on so many ends. Companions, specters and ourselves. Now given there are a lot of ways, a lot of nodes that buff two of those things at the same time. Generally all minion increases apply to companions, and there are a lot of nodes that buff you, the player, and your companions or your minions, or just does a presence area effect buffs, and we will come to that in a second. Good. That's all about the player-specific skills. Now, let's talk about the minions. First of all, we have the Wolf Pack. Quite frankly, most importantly, they are our tanks. They are our tanks because they have Romiras. This will take 10% of damage from us and gives it to them, so they tank for us. Actually, it is 15%. But that's because of the skill tree. I'll show you that later. Furthermore, you, the player, recoup 200% of the damage they take from this sort of tanking, this damage source. So you regenerate life if they take damage for you. So. But they are not just our tanks, they are also big damage dealers. They are one of our best hitters with their 9,000 damage. It was 12,000 a second ago, but I decided to change one support to Life Leech to make them at least a little bit tankier. So what they have is rapid attacks, heavy swing and heft. Quite basic stuff. But our real damage dealers are the Prowlers. We have 3 of them. And they really just do that. They do our damage with their 15k hits. And so that's what their supports are focused around. 30% more physical, another 30% more damage overall, faster attacks, another 35%. And then we have Diala's Desire. This gives +1 to level and 10% quality, and 10% quality equals 10% damage. So far so good. The other 2 werewolves, the Pack Werewolf and the Voracious Werewolves, they have more specific roles. The Voracious being our armor breaker. They have heft, feeding frenzy, rapid attacks and heavy swing. That's the same on both of them. Like that's standard. But as a 5th support they have armor break. Because, you know, an enemy with a fully broken armor takes more physical damage from our sources, and I mean, you know the drill. Pack Werewolf on the other hand does something else for us. It stuns. This way we can keep a boss down while we shred them. This way boss fights can take seconds. If you're lucky. You will see that later. Like, we can really DPS him down. Alright, I think that's it for the skills. Let's next discuss equipment. As I started this idea, I knew that I will need a ton of spirit and reservation efficiency to support all these summons. Yeah? So I knew I would want these boots. Because 30% increased reservation efficiency. I knew that I want this helmet. Because spirit and presence radius is doubled. Which is actually just great. Especially with a mass of this. Furthermore, it gives 70 cold resistance, and it gives a lot of evasion. Now, we don't utilize evasion, but we do transform it to armor. More on that also later. The same goes for our Morio Invictus. It brings a lot of evasion, which we transform to armor. But the most important thing is it brings attributes, Chaos Res and Spirit. You need to get Chaos Res or LRS on those. If you get LRS, you can focus Chaos Res on your rings, and if you get Chaos Res, it's vice versa. You get LRS on your rings. So you have that sorted. This one was quite expensive. I first started with a 4-socket one with attributes, life and spirit. Okay. So these 3 were clear. And then I knew that there are a lot of good runes that support minions that can go into the helmet, but are actually more effective in a Darkness Enthroned. So this was the 4th unique that I chose. And with that, we have already 4 slots occupied. So we had to build around that. I got a Lavinia's because I'm lazy. I don't want to press buttons. Like I said, I don't want to play piano. Let other people do that. I don't want to do that. So I got a Lavinia's. I could probably buy a better one by now, but I can't actually bother. Life Flask, you just want a very strong one. Like this was like 200x. I really didn't care. Probably don't need that much, but I'd be on the safe side there. Okay. In your talisman, you want melee skills. You want melee skills, as much physical damage as you can get, and you want one of those talismans that increase minion damage. So, the runes in it, though, are absolutely busted. Not only does it give our minions 20% physical as extra lightning, it also increases their damage by 40% because we are bonded. The scepter does something quite similar. It increases allies in our presence damage by 60%, and it gives ourselves 80% increased damage while we are shapeshifted. The rest is just, most of these don't really bond. I mean, the things in the belt, they have bonded effects, which are quite good. There's another revive. We have, as I said, a lot of revives. This is one of the sources. The remnants, we don't use them. So this is a dead stat, quite frankly, but the rest is okay. In the helmet we have nothing bonded because these are cores, armor as well, and yeah, in the gloves I got one Takati core to almost cap Chaos Res, so there's also nothing there. Okay, now let's discuss Ascendancy and Skill Tree. This is probably the biggest caveat. First of all, we want Sacred Flow. 40 spirit for each empty charm slot is quite a lot for what we are doing. We need this. Then we want the rage stuff. Why? I mean, this one is useless, we don't use spells, but we want maximum rage and we want the rage to always be up. Why do we want that? Because of a little trick that I learned through Gazi, which I mentioned earlier in the video. Commanding Rage. This makes our range not only buff ourselves, but also our minions by increasing their attack speed and damage by 1% per rage. We have 69 nice rage. So, as you can guess, that's a lot. And then we got 2 left. At first I tried the defense route. Where is it? This one. Yeah. I thought like adapting to elemental damage that would probably mitigate the damage that I take, which it did. But then after I switched to Scepter and Talisman, it was just too much of a benefit to not to skip on Wisdom of the Magi. This is just too good. Sadly, cores don't have bonded effects. I hope they change that in the future. Alright, that's the Ascendancy. Now the skill tree. We are playing an Armor ES build. So, quite frankly, we do already start with that. I could take some mana regen here, but you really need the defense. You need the armor, you need the energy shield, because we only have 72% armor, and it will probably get worse the higher we go. Yeah. So we really need that. We are dependent on it. Then we take a little detour. Go back here, grab this one. Actually, I will not tell you the correct order, because I barely remember the correct order. I just know, like, the starting concept. Right now I'm trying to get these two nodes, even more armor and energy shield and a little bit of movement speed. But the first thing that you want to do is you want to grab Lord of Horrors, which boosts your efficiency. And you want to grab these nodes, not this one, because it actually doesn't matter if your companions die. Like I said, they respawn really fast. But you want all the buffs to damage and to yourself. And you want this keystone to get a scepter. And while you are here, you can get 60% more armor and DS from your body armor. Again, we are playing with Morio Invictus. That's quite a lot. That's okay for just 4 nodes. It's actually even more because they also increase armor and DS. So this is one of the later things that you can grab, but this will boost your damage immensely. Next important thing would be minion revive time again. And then you just go over, take the plain simple minion stuff. The next important thing is this. These 3 nodes. Just these 3. We take the maximum rage later on. As soon as you have that, you can start to fill out everything. Like, for example, presence of area effect and increased spirit. Actually quite important. I got mind over matter. As I said, I want mana to be a buffer, increasing my health pool. But this makes you recover 50% less mana. And that's why we have clarity in our discipline aura. Also, we have mana recoup. And we let 10% of damage bypass everything and go straight to mana. So that we can kind of spread out the damage. We can spread out what pool gets affected, and we can try to cycle back everything at the same time. It doesn't work out great, but it does its job so far. So what else do we have? We have a little bit of resistance. I felt like they needed a little bit, just a little bit. But I will honestly probably just spend this point elsewhere at some point. What else did I forget? This is one of the latest things that I added. I just wanted the jewel socket. But quite frankly, I next want to go over here and grab this. So they get chaos damage in addition to the lightning and physical that they already do. Even more damage for our little wolfies. So what else do we have? Of course we have the attack speed of ourselves and our minions, and movement speed for ourselves and for our minions. 10% movement speed for our minions, which is actually huge. That makes them just rush to any target. And then, last but not least, we have this, because 12 maximum rage. Quite obvious. But that's not all, because one of the most important items is not this one, but this one. The From Nothing with Bulwark. Because we need desperately all these 5 buffs here. I even tried that one, but first of all, regenerating rage does not count as gaining rage. But we do have this little point here, right? We gain rage. But actually we don't use enough rage, or we refill it too quickly for it to trigger. So it would be just a wasted point. But the other 5 points here are absolutely awesome. And there's another thing or two. First of all, where is it? It's down here. This is the reason why 15% of damage gets siphoned to the companions. Also, our defenses are buffed just by our companions existing around us. This is anointed on your amulet. It is really strong for our survivability. It's absolutely... I wouldn't skip it. I wouldn't give up on it. Maybe there's a megalomaniac giving it, but I didn't look up any megalomaniacs. What I did look up though is the Flash Crucible. This makes our armor, our evasion, I mean, transform into armor. Try to get a downside that does not affect your important stats. Like I got 11% less maximum mana. That was like the least bad outcome. How do you say it in English? Like if you have to choose between pest and cholera, you choose less maximum mana. Alright? Alright. It's super expensive. Like about anything in this build is super expensive at this point. The skill tree you can also just find, and everything else you can find in the POE Ninja that I will link in the description. But that's about it. So, stick around for a showcase and ultimatum. And if not, thank you so much for your attention and have a good one. Alright. First of all, I take the money, thank you. Even more money. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, I got 2 ultimatums left. We take a deadly one to show the tornado bird at last. I hope I get good modifiers. Please let me get good modifiers. I don't want bullshit. Please, no bullshit. Alright, from now on I will be able to read in chat, but I will probably more focus on the game, because reasons. I want to get this done. This is the second time I have to record this, because the first time my recording was screwed because of an electric humming in the background. So let's do this. Like I said, ultimatum is a walk in the park. I take the energy shield. That's a good start.
Judge, prove yourself worthy of chaos.
So as you can see, they just shred. And if they don't shred, you shred. Like that. And they are kinda all over the place. And that's all for the first room. By the way, why do we call ultimatum runs and not room tours? Because it's a room tour basically. You tour from room to room, right? Grasping Vines is okay. So this is what I meant when I said fight on multiple fronts. Your companions normally take on 2 of those spawning points and you can just jump to the 3rd one. Clear it out. Just like that. Look at them, they don't even know where to stand. I got so many. I'm a real druid. Look at me, Diablo 2. This is how it goes. This is how to be a werewolf with a lot of wolves. Give me the gold. Ah, god damn it! Oh no, I'm stuck. I'm still stuck. This is something that they desperately need to fix. And now my minions are stuck. Did I get them out? Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, you are quite mobile. You can jump in, slash, dip out. No! I didn't get it. Should have focused him down. We will get yellow enemies that will show you how much this build can shred them if the conditions are in our favor. Yeah, give me burning turrets. I hate burning turrets. I hate them turrets in general because I always forget that they are there and then I start sprinting and then I fall on my face. Hello, big one. This will take a second. Oh no 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 no. This one's clear. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. This one's clear. No, don't get stuck. Last but not least. Is there a yellow? Yes. And that was a yellow. So far for the first 3 rooms. Now let's get the first boss. That's where this build really shines. Just watch.
Don't give up so early.
Which one is it though? It's the Chimera, okay. And this is all shit. I take the hearts. Do 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 do. And let's go. And eat it. Eat it. And it's eaten. And we are burning. This was actually bad. Because our minions blocked each other and so they didn't attack right at the start. And yet still...
Impressive.
There will come better bosses, so... I don't want to reduce it.
Of the damned. Slay them all.
Slay them all. Those goddamn hearts. Air bombs. Dodge them. So yeah, as you can see, cross slash really shreds those trash mobs. Okay, halfway done.
Half completed or half unfinished?
Yeah, take the minus LRS.
Blood is the key.
Blood is the key, that's rituals. I like rituals. I can't just plainly stand here and press one button. That was the first one. Let go of me. Oh, there's something yellow. I hate these hearts. Oh, it's already done.
I need more time for that.
And that was the last one. Up to the second boss, which is the pest bird. Because we got a deadly ultimatum. So the tornado bird is the last one.
Hardly call that a challenge.
Yeah, reach, why not? Okay, let's do this right.
A bird will do anything to feed its young.
I'm not ready yet.
I don't do it right because I get light stunned from these hearts. But it's dead. This is a bad run, yet they still melt. So yeah, ultimatum, level 80 ultimatum, absolute. This is the fun part.
Your skin grows stiff and resilient.
But now I'm light stunnable easily because of those hearts, and that makes it a little bit annoying. Get him. Ah. That was a yellow. That was all of them. Okay, one more room and then the final boss. And then we're already through. Remember, this is a casual build from a casual player, his very first creation. Just to remind you what we are talking about here. Yeah, take the recovery.
More slowly.
Do.
Require blood.
I feel like there are not enough enemies spawning. Oh, we're done. Do. Are we done? Yeah. Alrighty. Munch him! Munch them away! I can't even see the circle. Oh, it's because this is done. Alright, let's go to the tornado bird. This should actually be quite fun.
I can practically see your ego swelling.
Yeah, I can practically see my elemental resistance lowering. Thank you. Let's go.
Prove your might
I
against
need
this
more time for that.
beast.
And now, eat him. And there we go.
Eventually.
Yeah, it did take a lot of damage. It's because of all the stupid buffs, especially the hearts. But have you seen him melt? Have you seen him getting munched? I'm so happy. Like, we are talking about Path of Exile, okay? Path of Exile 2 to be quite frank, but still Path of Exile. As a filthy casual with no idea what he's doing, this is an achievement. Cowards. I need cowards so I can either do them or sell them. Not quite sure yet. Alright, what am I doing? That's basically it. Yeah. So much for the Geonor cosplay build. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, or evening, or night, whatever time it might be for you. I wish you all good for the future. Have fun. Keep slaying, Exile.